Cloudcover is your trusted source for managed IT, hosted voice, and cloud solutions. In today's world, IT is an essential part of business, no matter if you visit with patients or perform lawn maintenance. All companies need some sort of technology to effectively communicate with their clients, process requests, keep accurate records, send invoices, pay bills, the list goes on. Whatever industry you are in, Cloudcover can help, whether you have your own IT staff or not. Cloudcover has solutions that cover businesses of all shapes and sizes. When IT breaks down, it can be costly. Let Cloudcover build your most robust, reliable, mobile, and secure platform that will keep your business running smoothly and securely while providing the flexibility of working anywhere. Give us a call at 225-755-9422 or visit us on the web at cloudcover.com. That's spelled CLOWDCOVER.com. Cloudcover, CLOWDCOVER.com, a proud sponsor of Hustle Makes It Happen, the podcast.
With combined decades of experience, the staff at Rockstar Buildings will make your next metal building purchase quick and easy. Specializing in all types of metal buildings, from carports to garages to barns and more, Rockstar Buildings wants to be your go-to source for all your metal building needs. Priding themselves on experience, reliability, quality products, and stellar customer service has made Rockstar Buildings our choice for our metal building needs, and we could not be more pleased with the workmanship, service after the sale, and of course, the hustle of everyone at Rockstar Buildings. Y'all, let me tell you about the hustle of Rockstar Metal Buildings. I personally use Rockstar Metal Buildings to build a 60 by 40 shop in my house, and I could not be more pleased with the quality of product and service that they provided to me. They were awesome from start to finish. Give them a call or visit them on the web at rockstarbuildings.com to see the many examples of what Rockstar Buildings can do for you. Rockstar Buildings, a proud sponsor of Hustle Makes It Happen, the podcast.
What's up, everybody? You listen to Hustle Makes It Happen, a podcast about the grit, determination, and the mindset it takes to become a winner. Success is not an accident. It lives outside your comfort zone, in the trenches, where excuses are met by brick walls. So strap in, tighten up, and let's get ready to hustle. What's up, hustlers? Welcome to another episode of Hustle Makes It Happen, the podcast. Today, before we break off into this wonderful guest that we have on, we're going to go over it every time. Share the show.
Help us grow. Share the show, babe. You know the rules.
Yeah, that's it. The growth has been tremendous. We thank y'all every day for hitting play, that you're riding or listening, or I don't know where you watch it at, but wherever you do it, keep doing it.
Yeah, you're doing it.
Well, with that, don't forget www.hustlemakesithappen.com. Come get some sweet merch.
Yep, we got the t-shirts, got the water bottles, got the hats. Y'all check out the website, hustlemakesithappen.com. Aside from the store, we've got embedded links to our episodes there, video and audio format. So if you're not watching on YouTube or iTunes or Spotify or whatever, you can check us out on hustlemakesithappen.com.
So with that out of the way, we have a pretty awesome guest on today.
Yep, I'm excited about this one.
So the reason why I know that this lady is a hustler is because she has taken a lot of my money out of my bank account.
Yeah, mine too. We're actually, hey, this is a true story. So it's my wife's birthday today, the day we're recording, and she's meeting me here after this episode, and we're going to your shop.
Awesome.
That's her birthday gift.
I love it. I love it.
She ruined the surprise because I was telling her that we were doing an episode with you, and she was like, well, I'm just going to go to the shop, and then we'll just link up after. We're going to take my son to the aquarium. That's what she wants to do for her birthday. But we're going to take my son to the aquarium. And I said, nah, I want you to come to the shop, because I was just going to take her there and buy her whatever she wanted for her birthday. And she was like, no, I'm just going to go while you're at the shop. I'm like, listen to me. Come to the shop.
Come here.
Come to the studio first. So she's actually on her way here right now.
Oh, great. I want to meet her.
All right.
But with that, so Miss Megan is the owner of JM Boutique, out here in Watson, Louisiana.
The fan favorite.
Yes, it is one of the fan favorites, if not the best.
I think
around.
it's the fan favorite.
So, Megan, break off. Tell us about yourself, a little history, who you are, and then we'll dive in between the ears and the mindset a little bit.
Okay, so what's up, everybody? I'm so excited to be here. I am Megan. Some people do know me as Jessica. Fun fact, it's Jessica Megan, but I've always went by Megan. I have to thank my parents for that. It was pretty difficult growing up, actually. But yeah, I'm Megan. I have a wonderful husband, Kyle, 2 little boys. Absolutely love fashion. I am the owner of JM. We are coming up on 3 years. Our big birthday's coming up. I'm so excited about that. I love everything to do with it. Have loved growing the brand, growing the business, everything it's taken to get where we are today. I love, staying active, being with friends, being with family, just, all around.
I met you years ago, I think, probably year 1, I think, is when I went in there with my wife. But if you go into this boutique, for everybody that doesn't know what JM Boutique is, it's this building. Watson is a very small community out in Louisiana, but you go in here and it's just like fashionista forward everything. Like you feel like you walked in a building and you're like, I didn't think that this could be in here.
Yeah.
Like that's what that boutique feels like. You're like, it's this little quaint country building. You go in, you're like, wow, this is impressive. You'll see it in a little while.
Yeah, we're going to check it out. I've never been in there personally. My wife goes there all the time, though.
We did just paint the outside. Have y'all seen it?
I don't know. Like very recently?
Like last week.
Oh, no, I haven't seen it.
So we just
since then.
redid the outside.
Sweet.
Check it out. I know y'all have those bomb candles out, like those blue ones. Those
Capri Blue?
Yeah, dude, those are the best.
They're so good.
That's my favorite
They're so good.
candle in the world.
So talk about a little bit about your background, maybe, high school education, anything that drove you towards the fashion industry a little bit.
I've always been super creative. It's always been in me. I've always, went that way. I've always wanted to be different. If everybody wanted black, I wanted white. If everybody wanted white, I wanted black. It was I never wanted to do what everybody else was doing. So high school, I'm from the area, Walker High, graduated, and it was kind of a struggle, to be quite honest. To even say where I am today is crazy looking back. I just have to stop and humble myself sometimes, because I feel like society today really pushes, and even then, college, go to college. This is what you're going to do, So right out the gate, I was going to go be a nurse. That's what I wanted to be. And so did all the prerequisites, everything I needed to do that. And it just didn't fit me. Like my creativity it just wasn't working. So ended up going to cosmetology school. Let me back up a little bit. I switched probably 5 times. I switched my major to the point my dad was like, okay, look, you can't stay in college forever. You cannot be a professional student. You have to get out. Like you have to, or bottom line, I'm not paying for college forever.
Right.
So figure it out. I said, okay, I'm going to do business, or I'm going to do this. I thought I was going to do sales. I was like, oh, I can do sales, It was just kind of that finding myself place. And it just still didn't sit well. I just, I was really one of the ones, I was kind of the last one out of my friend group. I kind of started to feel like, what the heck am I doing, But I ended up falling in love with cosmetology, and it really allowed me to express myself. I loved it. And it is funny how God opens doors, because putting me in the cosmetology field opened doors and introduced me to so many people in the fashion industry. It just led me right down the road I was supposed to be on. So it just worked out that, it worried me and stressed me out for so long that I didn't take this clear-cut path of knowing what I wanted to do when I got out of high school, doing the perfect college road. It took me a little bit of time to find what I wanted to do, but I found it. And it is so awesome once you find it and you get in that groove of, who you are and being who you are. So, after I did do cosmetology for 6 years, loved it, still love it. Clients became family, became friends. JM was born. and my husband and I talked about it forever. It was always something that burned in me. It was always, oh, maybe I can put a boutique in the hair salon. Maybe I can do this while I cut hair. Maybe I can. There was always that that desire. And every time I would shop or be out, I'd say, well, I could do this, or what if I did this? And I always had that what if, that burning desire to just do it. And I would just never leap. And it really just took him. He really pushed me. He was kind of like, you're doing it. You've got it. Like, just do it. If you would just do it, he's like, I know you would just be so great at it. And finally, God really just opened those doors for me for the perfect location, the perfect little place. And I said, here we go. I signed and agreed to open JM the day I went into labor with Bowen.
Oh, wow.
And that was it.
You think that drove you into labor, or was it just a coincidence?
I was scheduled.
I love when people make hard decisions when life's hard.
Yeah, hard decisions at a hard time.
Well, let me tell you, it was hard
that.
because we went and looked at the building. So I was, super pregnant. We were talking about it, and Kyle and I went and we looked at it because, I was still tipping my toe in the water. Do I want to do it? And he's like, let's go look at it.
You were window shopping.
I was window shopping. So, we went and we looked at it, and, I could just feel it. When you just walk in and you just, I'm a dreamer.
You're already envisioning what it was looking like, right?
Yeah, right. So we looked at it and we told him, the man we rent from, y'all, he's a blessing. We're like, let us think about it. We'll get back with you. And he's like, okay. And, he kind of even told us, he pulled us to the side and talked to us, and he said, I really believe in you. Like, you've got something special. And it just, when people start to tell you that, it's just like, eventually, it's like, come on, you got to just start believing in yourself. So I told Kyle, I'm like, let me just pray on it. Let me just think about it, because my faith, I put a lot in my faith. And so he's like, I'm gonna secure this building. I'm gonna hold on to this building for you. He took the for lease sign down. Okay. And so I'm still sitting on it. I'm like, can I do it? Can I do it? And that's what did it. He called and he said, I need an answer right now. Like, you have to tell me. He said, other people are interested in this building. Are you doing it? And he was on speakerphone. And I remember I was sitting at the counter. I think I was literally filling out labor and delivery paperwork. And Kyle said, she's doing it. She's doing it. Yes. And I said, here we go. It's a go. It was so real and so quick. I remember right after delivery, I'm holding Bowen, and he went down for the first time. I'm like, gosh, I better start looking up stuff to put in there. We need racks.
Was Bowen your first or second?
Second.
Okay, so
I had 2 kids. And
so that even further solidifies to me. So obviously different realm, different genre of life, but me and Macy sat down. Macy had gone back to shifting at the hospital, and would come home after 12-hour shifts on nights. And I think Nixon was 3 months old. And she goes, I'm done. I'm going back to school. I said, you're going back to get your master's degree with a 3-month-old? She's like, yep. I was like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah, she just hit that spot.
Yeah, it was that.
Yeah.
I'm just, even though you're picking one of the hardest times in your life to really go tackle a really hard thing that you're about to go do separately from the hard thing already happening.
Yeah.
And I think it almost it brings out some character in you that you probably never.
It changes something in you.
Hey, y'all, if you're in the market for a real estate attorney that can handle all your title work needs, all your closing needs, all your succession needs, whatever your needs are in the real estate industry, look no further than our friends Shay Landry and the group at Milestone Title. Y'all, we use these guys for our personal business, and they have never let us down. They've been on top of the game every time we've used them. So whatever it is that you're looking for in the real estate industry, as far as a closing attorney or title work is concerned, check out our friends over at Milestone Title. Milestone Title, a proud sponsor of Hustle Makes It Happen, the podcast.
Once you can tackle something so hard and then achieve it, you just keep going.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
You just decide that you look at an obstacle and you just say, I can do this.
I love where you're where your story started, and this is what I've taken just from like the couple of minutes that we've had together, is I can tell that you're like a super passionate person, like in the base case, right? Like whatever it is that you're into, it just seems like you're very passionate about it. I can pick that up from your personality. But what I love about like the way your story started was that you were trying to fit like a mold of your life that just wasn't in your personality.
Right.
And it seems like you struggled with that until you got into cosmetology. But I think part of the reason why you're so successful at JM is because you're able to take something you're extraordinarily passionate about and bring that out into the world. And that's super, super valuable.
I mean, it's funny because part of the reason that, we linked up for this too is because of a story very similar in the same genre sat in that seat that looked very fashionable herself, and Miss Queen of Sparkles, Jamie Glass, talked about that same thing. Going into that office in the 9-to-5 realm was not her. She felt it in her core. It wasn't.
It hurt. It almost like hurts. You know, when you feel like when something doesn't fit your life, you can't. I mean, I even in college did internships, and I remember just sitting at my desk like I just couldn't do it. And I would look around at other people, and they were doing it, and they were excelling. And I think that's what makes the world so beautiful is everybody's meant for something. Mm-hmm. They did that really well where I didn't. Like, I'm looking around the room. I'm like, gosh, this paint color, like, I wonder what we could paint these walls. Like, I'm like totally not way off track, and I knew like I could not do this.
Yeah. What's so hard about that too is if you're doing something and you're really good at what you're doing, but it's just not you. You know what I mean? I think I've just recently found myself in that position where I was doing something, I was very good at it, but I just got to the point in my life where I felt like what I was doing didn't mesh with my life anymore. Right. You know what I mean? And really from listening to people like you and people on the show, I decided to make a leap, make a change, right?
Awesome.
And it was a big deal. We can talk about that later, but I think finding what you're passionate about and then diving headfirst into that is going to lead to a crazy amount of success for anybody brave enough to do that, right? And what's kind of going right into that, what's so cool about your story, and it's another thing I want to talk about, was the support system that you had with your husband. Yeah. Where he saw your passion, like he knew what you were passionate about, and then he was constantly kind of pushing you and motivating you to follow that passion, and bam, look where we are now. Yeah. You know what I mean? So there's two lessons there. There's follow your passion, and there's have a good support system.
That's right.
Support system is almost everything. It's a huge part of a big success story, because honestly, and I mean it when I say it, I don't think I would have done it had he not just shoved me off the ledge. Yeah. And I needed that.
Well, it's because he saw it in you, right? He knew what was in your heart, and he knew what you wanted to do. And helped bring that out in you. He
did. I mean, I think he saw the struggle. Yeah. I think he saw the creativity. It was just, I think it was driving him crazy. It was driving me crazy.
Nobody that's ever sat in that seat, and that's the great thing about talking about people that are so like-minded, and they're all different, but they all know that path to where they've gotten to today, it's never alone. No. It's always the success of the team that's helped elevate wherever they've gotten, whether that's individually or as a company or whatever. I mean, or together. I mean, because you grow as an individual usually when you are succeeding in the realm of your business as well. You should be. If you're not, then you're doing something totally wrong.
Yeah. So going backwards a little bit to the passion thing, I can see just through our conversations already and through some of the stuff you wrote in your questionnaire that passion is what's like continuing to drive you forward in your business too, which is really interesting. I'm not surprised about it, but I just think it's cool that you talked about like your main motivator is your kids and your family, and how it all is just tying back to passion for me, right? Yeah. So like you're obviously very passionate about your family, and they're like the main motivator in your life. It's not the Instagram views and the success of the business. No. It's all about providing for your family, which you're extraordinarily passionate about.
100%. That is what it is. I want my kids to be proud. Like I want Balin and Bowen to say, that's my mom. Look what she did. Not just look what she did, look what she's done and what she's built, but look who she helped, who she inspired. We all are here for a certain amount of time. We're writing our book, we're writing a story. And I just want so much to put that on them, to leave that impression, not only them, but my grandkids. I want them to say, man, look what grandma did. Look what she did while she was here. I just feel like every day when I get up, what's the point of not pushing forward and working hard to make a difference, to, impact somebody's day? That's really where my heart is so big too with JM. And that was the big turning point. Well, not turning point, but keystone thing I wanted to make JM. I wanted it to be a boutique, but more than a boutique. When you walk in, you're family. First and foremost.
And you will feel that.
You come in, we're there, we're going to greet you, we're going to take care of you. Everyone's welcome. It is my job and my team's job to make you feel beautiful. We're here to dress you. We're here to impact your day. We're here to make you feel like you are it. You're the queen. Let us dress you. Not only just you, but like it's your wife's birthday. When you come in, some men feel weird coming into a boutique. But
I'll be sniffing all the candles, and I'm not going to try anything on. That might get a little strange, but I'm going to be in there.
Yeah, but that's another thing I wanted to change.
It's true.
And we've gotten great feedback from that. But when a guy comes in, help him out, wrap his wife's gift up, ask him what she likes, help him pick it out. Let's change the setting. Like, let's turn the page. Let's make this better. What can I do to make this better? How can I take it and just love on it and change it and write my story, but write it in such a beautiful, good way that my kids and my husband and my grandkids are proud. My community, I want JM and my story to be something that everyone's proud of.
See, I don't even know if you just realized it whenever you said it, but whenever you said take your business and like take it and love on it, it goes right back to that passion thing. You know what I mean? And I keep drilling on this, but it keeps coming up over and over again.
Yeah.
You, from what I can tell, from what I've read and what we've talked about, you're successful because of your passion. Like, I'm pinning that. I'm like pinning it on you, because even saying something like take your business and loving on it, like that shows how much you care about it. You know what I mean?
I do care. And I laugh all the time, because right before I came here, I was helping a customer, and Casey was in the back, and she was laughing. She said, Megan, you're almost like a gnat. She said, you were determined, you were going to dress her and make her feel good. She said, you were in the back digging for clothes. You come over here digging for clothes. She said, I heard you out there. I said, but hey, she's dressed, she feels good, and she's going to look good when she goes somewhere. I said, I was not going to give up. It was, and if at the end of the day, something didn't work out, that's okay. I tried, but it was my job to make her feel good. And that's what I want to do.
Yeah, look, I listen to a lot. We listen to a lot of podcasts and watch YouTube videos, all these successful people, whatever. Andy Frisella is one of my favorite podcasters. I listen to stuff all the time. I remember an episode that he had a while back where he was talking about, he doesn't even he tries not to focus on the business and the goals of the business. He just focuses on making people happy.
Yes.
And he says that focusing on making people happy and providing a good experience for his customers has always led to more customers.
100%.
Yeah. So it seems like you're taking a little page out of that playbook.
Yeah, I might need to go listen to him.
Yeah, he's solid.
He's just going to drop 337 F-bombs.
Yeah, it's a little vulgar.
Oh, okay.
but
it is a little vulgar.
It's vulgar. It's still super positive.
Is it?
Yeah. So I can attest, she's not just talking. I brought my daughter, who's a tween, so she's almost a teenager. So she's kind of in that in-between stage. But I brought her there before we went to Vegas, and first words out of her mouth, she had a little bag. She bought a couple little things, and she had someone dedicated to her, because she's like new into shopping. She's still relatively young.
Right.
We walked out. She had her little bag in her hand. She's smiling. She's all happy. First thing she said, get in the truck. She goes, Dad, they were just so nice and helped me with everything. And for me as a dad, right, except for, not buying anything super provocative for a 12-year-old or 13-year-old, they ushered her around, they showed her this, they let her try it on. And when she left there, she felt comfortable and taken care of. And that will further, I was already a big fan anyway, so it didn't matter. But for someone that first walks in that shop, that was the first impression. If a dad was bringing his daughter to go in there and didn't know her like I knew her, then the impression was his daughter felt taken care of, and the dad didn't feel out of place going, I don't know what you need to put on right now.
Yeah. So all the success that you've had in JM has not been super easy, right? There's been some challenges along the way. Why don't you tell us about some of the failures and some of the struggles that you've had to overcome in the last 3 years?
There's been a good bit. I mean, it doesn't come easy. Every day is hard work. You get up, it's the daily grind. You have to work hard. Building your team's hard. That took me a while to get, a great team. I'm so thankful every day for my team. They're amazing. That is really, a great foundation of JM is having these girls. I'm blessed with a wonderful team, all the way from the background of what's running behind JM, behind the scenes that you don't even see, to the girls you're going to talk to on the floor every day. But I mean, we've overcome some struggles, I think a big one for me was the dropping the ball on my website was probably the one that hit me the hardest. It really knocked me down hard because I think I was so excited to bring the website to JM because so many people wanted it. It was, when are we going to be able to shop online? When are we going to be able to shop online? And I'm a giver just by nature. That's just me. Like, if you ask me for something, you're probably going to get it. And when a customer comes in and they're like, we need this, we want this, I'm leaving and I'm getting on the computer and I'm getting on the phone. How quick can we bring this to our customers? So, I wanted to get that website and we did it, but it didn't work well when we brought it out. It just, the way the inventory lined up, the way the seasons lined up, the way we had to stock everything in the warehouse, it just wasn't what it needed to be. What the customers wanted to see was where they click on the website and you basically get the storefront, which was very hard to accomplish because we do carry a ton of merchandise. So the first launch of the website didn't go well. So I'm also a very competitive win person. Like when I do something, I want to do it right and I want it to be done well. And so I took that hit pretty hard. And so fast forward a little bit, we end up bringing on Casey for website, for that kind of thing. And January market comes around and I know, I've got to do something to fix this website. And I just think God puts people in the places that he needs to put them. And it was a hard market for me. I learned really hard lessons at that market. And I ended up talking to two of some of the best people in the business. I just happened to run into them. One lady was next to me in a vendor, and she ended up chasing me down after to ask me what kind of boots I had on. And so then that sparked the conversation. She was like, "Are you on the web? Are you on the web?" And I didn't even want to say yeah. Like it was to that point, and I was like, "Yeah." I was just real honest with her, but I kind of told her my struggles. I mean, she just opened up the gates of knowledge and just let me have it. She told me, hard lessons that I had to learn. And then I ended up having dinner with another man that's been in the business for 50 years. And he told me really hard lessons to the point, I got back to the hotel room that night and just cried. I'm like, oh my God, I'm about to have to break this website down, redo it, build it up. And I knew how bad it was going to be and how much it was going to hurt. And so on the way home, we talked about what we had to do. And, this was just January. So you're looking at almost being 3 years in. I had to change my complete point of sale system, wipe it out of the business. That means changing all your storefront inventory and converting it and merging it with what we had in the warehouse. It took me and my team a long time. They worked really hard, but we did it. And I mean, I just think it takes sometimes stuff brings you to your knees and you just really got to pray and work hard. And I knew how hard that was going to be. But I knew my business on the back end wasn't doing what it was supposed to be doing. So we relaunched that website. I mean, we redid everything, rebuilt it, redid POS, redid everything. And I mean, I'm talking we went back to pen and paper when you checked out, writing tags down to make sure our counts, our everything was spot on. And we did it. I mean, it was done.
Nick Torito at Area Home Lending, Louisiana's top choice for mortgages. If you're looking to buy, build, or refinance, they have you covered. Don't get fooled by one of those online or out-of-state banks. Nick and Area Home Lending are Louisiana-based and lend in all of Louisiana. From Lake Charles to Lafayette or all of Baton Rouge to New Orleans, if it's in the state, Nick and his team are local experts and ready to help. Your home is one of the biggest decisions and investments you will make in your life. With trust, commitment, and care, Nick will walk you through the process, step by step, making the hardest decision easy and ensuring the process is as simple and painless as possible. And with Nick, you'll find out that you're not only just another transaction or number on the list. He's invested in you and you become family with his goal to create a relationship that will always be there. Area Home Lending has access to the best loan programs too, and with the lowest rate and fees, all while delivering exceptional customer service. Please give him a call today at 225-663-2500 or visit him on the web at www.areahomelending.com. I guarantee you, he will take great care of you. Nick Torito and Area Home Lending, a proud sponsor of Hustle Makes It Happen, the podcast.
Yeah, so that's one of the, in your questionnaire, you say you look at obstacles as a challenge. A setback is nothing more than a setup. So
That's right.
I mean, is that how you look at like literally everything? You just kind of stop, maybe take a knee, say some prayers,
Say some
whatever,
prayer. I
come
pray
up with
a
a
lot.
plan? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have to. I'm really big on my faith. I think God has put me here in this for a reason. He has me doing what I'm doing to tell a story, and he wants me. This is me doing his work. I talk to and help people every day. I want to be his hands and feet. I want to be on the ground doing his work. And even though sometimes I wake up and every day isn't rainbows and unicorns like I want it to be, some days it's hard. Some days you literally go to bed at night and you're like, I hope I don't have another one of those days. But you get up and do it again. And, when I'm faced with something, I've just learned once I'm here now, I'm built myself to this point that there's no sense in whining about it. You might as well just grab the bull by the horns, take it head on. It's a setup. A setback is nothing more than a setup to do it better and to be stronger.
Yeah, look, and we struggle with that in our business. We're going through some stuff right now on our own, outside the podcast, our land development company. And I remember the first setback we had. I remember the first major setback we had with our first, I guess it was our second development. It was when the big uh-oh moment happened. Yeah. And, we stopped and we were like, oh God, this is going to bankrupt us. But we were able to figure out a way through it. And now it seems like when obstacles come, maybe it's just in our personalities or whatever, but when obstacles come our way, it seems like now we just kind of get aggravated and frustrated, and then we're like, and then we drive into it.
You just drive into it. Yeah, you kind of have to.
So I do a little bit of step back, and I do kind of dissect what lanes are open. And then I start, after I get my little bit of frustration of I have to deal with this, I'm looking at how I'm dissecting it and which way I'm going with it. But they definitely do not get in my way anymore. I'm just figuring my way through it, around it, over it, under it. It doesn't.
Yeah, at this point, it's just like a figure it out game. But I remember at first, those first couple of big obstacles were like, oh my God, we're not going to make it past this. Yeah. And we'd have at least I did, I had this couple of panic moments, But now it just seems like when they come up, we just kind of grit and get mad and then
get through it.
Through it. Or at least try to anyway.
I mean, yeah. Sometimes you got these big ones that just shake you up a little bit.
Were you always this competitive and this driven towards this type of mindset when you were younger? Because I read in your questionnaire, and I think it's actually awesome talking about some of your family members that had shops that you used to be in as a kid. Did that drive you to kind of look up to that and aspire for that?
I think when I was a kid, I don't really realize that then it didn't. But now as an adult looking back, I'm like, man, I think it did. Yeah. I can remember spending summers with my Nana in her frame shop. And, then I was a kid playing with the frames. You take them down, you put them together, what all can you make? And the whole time, she's over there talking to customers, doing business. And I was taking it in, and I love that because I heard, I was listening to another person talk, and they said a lot of times with kids, it's not taught, it's caught. Your kids, catch things. They pick up things that are going on around them. And I think I was catching all of that. I was taking it all in. She was doing her business. She was the boss, And then my gram had a Native American shop that I would go in, and I I remember being a little girl and just kind of looking around at all of the setup and how beautiful everything was and the big head dressings. And then, and even just in my 20s, just it never impacted me. But now as an adult, I'm like, man, that really did.
Isn't it funny how cognizant you were, but not
yes.
that it doesn't, like, the light bulb doesn't click on until later on in life.
Mm-hmm.
It is. I've had a couple of those moments from times with my family, and I was like, I wasn't really aware of it then, but I was catching it, like you said.
Exactly.
And then I get to be 30 and 35, and I'm like, wow, that sticks with me today, right now. Yeah, I know. I love that. When you were in the beginning, so just had your second child. Mm-hmm. Your husband says, "Here, it's time to go. It's time to jump off that ledge.
Swim."
Yeah, sink or swim.
Literally.
And you sign your lease. What systems were you already kind of like knowing what systems needed to be in place, or were you figuring all this out in real time?
I was figuring it out.
Yeah,
I was just figuring it out.
That's
is so challenging. That's the part for me that makes everything so nerve-wracking. I think I try to overthink everything before we do anything. Mm-hmm. And it drives me insane. I'm trying to figure out how to get over that. But like, I'm one of those people, we talk about these people on our show, and I'm one of these people. Like, I won't start something because I'll sit there and think about it and think about it and think about it. And I'll never like get started. Kind of need that kick in the pants like you got. But that is so challenging. It's terrifying. You know what I mean? Honestly, it's scary.
Yeah. And the thing, it's crazy because now that I am where I am today, I'm kind of like, I can do this. And now I'm looking at, growing JM and doing all these other things. And now I've become more, I think my confidence it's grown in business. And so now because I got that push and because I know the struggle of business, I know it's not easy. I know, what I'm facing. I'm more inclined now to make the jump. Isn't
it funny that you go through the trenches of starting it, learning, because you're essentially learning all of it.
Oh, every day.
And you come out. I had someone recently, a family member, we were at dinner, and with what we go through in land development, and then with the podcast recently, they just looked at me and they said, "You've come into your own," and we weren't even talking about me. We were just. And I kind of looked back. I was like, "What do you mean?" And they were just like, "You come into your own. You're very set, and like it's like I can almost see your vision forward." And I was like, "Wow, like thank you for that compliment."
Right.
But I think it's because of the knowledge that you've pushed into yourself and absorbed, and you're confident. Like I went the hard route to learn all this, and like I feel confident where I'm headed and what I'm doing. It won't mean you're not going to hit setbacks and road bumps, but you kind of know. But you're still in the infant years of your business.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And let's talk about, to give a little nod, let's talk about some of the accomplishments that you've already gotten.
I mean, it's crazy. I do have to stop because I am such a pusher and I want to achieve and I want to do. And even my team, they'll tell me sometimes, like, Meg, like it's only been almost 3 years. Like you're okay.
Right.
It's insane, and I have to stop and appreciate those days. Like I sit sometimes where I used to not, and that is something that I have taught myself because I'm such a go, 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 go. I need to do that. You need to just take a minute and really look at what you've accomplished because it's so amazing, to just sit and humble yourself for a second in where you're at today versus, if you'd have told me 10 years ago, I'd be sitting here doing this with y'all. I would have said.
I say that all the time.
No way.
No doubt.
I say it all the time. If I were to rewind and say 10 years, you'd be running a podcast, a land development company, and doing this, I'd have looked at you and be like, "You're a liar.
You're a liar."
And that's never going to happen.
That's right. But I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah. You have to be cognizant of the journey and then enjoy it.
Exactly.
I was just about to go there. Like, do you find happiness and success in the journey, or are you like results oriented? We ask a lot of people this.
I used to be results oriented.
Yeah, me too.
So results oriented that I think it was almost stressing me out, and I had to really, really sit down with that for a second because you have to try to also find that balance with family and all that kind of stuff. And I think that is where when you become cognizant of your journey and take your time and enjoy the ride, you can really balance a little bit better, you know, instead of always trying to, I've got to achieve, you know, if you would just slow down and say, look at what I have achieved today, look at what I have achieved for the month, you know, and really let that sit and soak in instead of, you did achieve this, but instead of sitting in this achievement, you're trying to get to this achievement and you didn't even pay this achievement any attention, you know. That's really,
we've changed that for us as a company and
just personally
and personally, but as a team, because we are a team. And you know, if you would have said year one, day one, week one, month one, we're like, we want to get to this sales point, we want to sell this much, and we want to do this and this. And then now we're like, good, we've achieved that. Look where we've gotten. Like, can't believe we're here. We're blessed.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, let's look ahead, but like, let's be happy where we're at right now. It makes you
breathe a little better.
Yes, it does.
And I'll be totally honest with you, like it didn't really change. I don't think it really we were trying to head that direction, but I don't think it really changed for me mentally until I heard Justin King talking about it in the very first episode of this show that we did, when Justin was talking about this negative mind loop that he gets hung up in, or used to get hung up in, where the dude was at the CrossFit Games. I mean, he's the pinnacle of the top 1% of the athletes in the world in the base case, whether he wins or not. So he goes to the CrossFit Games, doesn't win, and he's like beating himself up on the row machine about not winning the CrossFit Games.
At the
CrossFit Games.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's on the best, like, he's one of the best athletes in the world, period. He doesn't win, so he doesn't hit that accomplishment. And he just starts punishing himself on the rowing machine, talking to himself like, oh, you're a piece of crap, you didn't win.
Yeah.
And whenever he said that, I was like, oh my God, dude.
Yeah, year two starts now. Like 3 seconds after year one, you're
what you do to yourself.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can totally relate because I am so hard on myself. And it's insane how hard I can be on myself in business. You know, and I've really had to, like I told you, sit back and say, no. Like, because you take it home, you know, when you're in that negative mindset.
I was just about to say that because you're hard on yourself in business, and it can, as soon as you walk in the door, it can follow you right in the door.
Yes,
yeah, that's right. And as soon as like one of your kids messes up, or you know, you're now I'm a terrible parent. You know what I mean? It just goes on and it gets worse and worse.
You have to get out of that negative mindset, you know. And I feel like the more you breathe life into yourself and feed positive energy, the more it comes out in better ways in your business, in your family, in everything. But when you're beating yourself up for something that you can't change anyway and just pushing, you know, you almost push yourself past the point. And that's something I've had to tell myself too. I would get to the point where I'd work till 2 o'clock in the morning on the computer and then have to get up at 5:30 a.m. And then what good am I to anybody the next day? And that was something, you know, Kyle had to really rein me back in on too. He's like, what good are you going to be tomorrow? You know, when you're so tired, running on caffeine, can barely function, if you just would have cut it off a little earlier, went to bed, and then woke up refreshed. And I'm like,
it leads me to my next question.
Go for it.
Because it needs to be part of season 2. Sleep. So I have, you know, I'm not creative like you are creative, but I'm creative in thinking about problems and obstacles and developmental needs that happen with that. So my creative brain has to be, you know, punctual for that. But I find myself sometimes like my mind just goes firing off, and it's, you know, it's 10, 11, and I'm still plugging things in my notes that I'm like, oh, I can't forget this. Do you find yourself doing that?
100%.
Okay. Yep.
But you got to make like a conscious effort to shut it off at some point.
Yeah, I do. And then some nights I just give myself the grace of saying, I'm going to let myself go tonight. Like if I'm on a track or I've got a deadline coming up or I know I just need to get some stuff done, it's okay. I've learned that, you know, I can't say, okay, you have to go to bed at this time every night. You have to do this. It's okay I've just given myself that grace to say, if you stay up that late to 4 a.m., then you better drink a lot of coffee the next day. I just try to make a conscious effort not to do it every night. But, you know, some nights I just feel like as a creative individual, as a business owner, as a mom, with a little boy who still doesn't sleep through the night, you know, I just have to do it. You have to do what you have to do sometimes. And I think you do know your body the best. And I think some days we have more energy than others. I think when your body tells you enough is enough, enough is enough.
Yeah, take that nap.
go to sleep. Some nights I'll just shut my laptop, put it on the bedside table and call it a night, where some nights I'm fine. But yeah, my brain, so you have to just.
This stems from a friend of mine that was in the military with me, and he's been blasting it through his military channels of friends and networks. He's now a civilian, but we talk, and he listens to every episode religiously.
Right.
And he's like, man, he's a hustler too in his own right. He's just in Virginia. He'd be on the show, but he said, I want to know about sleep patterns. And I was like, yeah, because I'm always thinking of stuff in the middle of the night.
Yeah,
I will literally get up last night and brain was firing off on certain things that we got going on. And I'm like, I need to write these down. And I'm on my notes. And then I'll go back to sleep. But he's like, I want to know, do other successful individuals do that too? And I'm like, yeah, I want to know if they do that too.
Yeah. I even we have a desk in our room, and I'm a sticky note queen.
Okay.
Like, you can even go in the back room at JM, and it may have like 2 words on it, but I'll just stick it to the wall. And that way I don't.
Are they multicolored?
They are multicolored.
Okay, of course. I knew that.
Like the colorful stack pack. Yeah. But it just, anything you need to do to get that idea out of your head, no matter what time it is. So if I'm walking past a desk, I'll just be like, pink paper, pink wallpaper, or like this next idea. Like, and then in the morning when I get up, I'll see it and I'll be like, boom.
I didn't think of it that way till you just said it, is that I guess me putting it in my phone is not putting it in a continual loop in my head. Like, I'm getting it out.
Stick it in and forget about it.
Yeah, I'm getting it out onto something.
Because I'm so guilty, and I don't know why I still do it to myself. I'll think of something, or I'll see something, and I'll just try to make a mental note of it. I'm like, I'm going to remember that. I'm going to remember it.
And you don't.
And then I don't. And I'll sit there, and I'm like, what was that?
Yes. That's why I get up and put it in my phone.
Dude, you make fun of me for doing my list, but you're doing the same thing. You're making a list.
No.
I make lists. I do a little
My husband
checkbox
makes
list.
lists, and it drives me crazy.
No, I don't.
But what is wrong with you people?
I don't do check off lists. I do, like, when my brain is like, and I know it's in that creative process of thinking about things, I know that I'm going to forget it, especially at night.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'll go to bed because I've done what she's talking about. I've literally there, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's going to be amazing. I need to, like, I'm going to go to bed though. I'll remember this in the morning. And then when I wake up, I'm like,
what was that?
I'm like, oh my God, it's gone.
It's gone.
It's gone.
It does. You have to get it out. You have to.
No, I am not. I will never become your list guy.
I've tried.
Look, so even if it's something like something I want to remember, I'll put in my little checkbox list, like look into blah blah blah. Like if pink wall, don't forget about pink wallpaper.
I like it better on a Post-it note. It feels better.
The little check boxes.
Yeah,
I like checking them off.
Mine's. I do well. I think I do well without a checklist.
I think you do fine.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks. So, Megan, do you feel like you're like have you always been like a high achieving type person? Like whenever you were in school, were you like very hard on yourself? You didn't get good grades, is that a thing in your personality?
I feel like it's a thing that I have developed in my personality.
Not always though.
Not always. I think in certain aspects I've always been that way, but I think as I've gotten older, I have really become very competitive on myself. Yeah,
I want to like make some connections back to that negative mind loop that we were talking about, and I want to see where this comes from. So like as we're getting into season 2, I want to take some of the lessons from season 1 and try to figure out the why of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So whenever I think about that scenario, like I've always been really hard on myself to like make good grades in school, and if I didn't, then I was I'd failed, right? And I think that's where that like achievement mindset kind of came from. So I'm trying to figure out what kind of qualities lead to that negative mind loop so we can recognize it and then stay out of it. So
I think it's just having to achieve and do and be the best, and for me that's kind of it.
Katie Benton Thompson is your local trusted realtor. Born and bred in real estate as a third-generation realtor, she deals with developments from lots and to houses. Katie was raised building the parish of Livingston. Her family roots have grown this parish for the last 30 years. This environment has educated Katie in all areas of real estate. I can tell you from personal experience, Katie Benton Thompson is a hustler in every way. She is constantly digging her heels in to give her clients the best buying or selling experience she can. Give Mandy Benton Realty Group a call and ask for Katie Benton Thompson at 225-953-0677. I think
Does it come from? It comes from competition, then you think?
yeah,
Maybe?
but I think it's the you're end goal focused instead of actually being cognizant of the whole journey of where you've gotten or where you're headed. Because think about this. Let's actually talk about it in a different context. Justin King, in the year that he punished himself, right? Because that's what we can use him as an example. Justin King gets on the rower, doesn't get the placement he wants, starts punishing himself. He's in the negative mind loop, right? Mm-hmm. Like you said, he reached the 1% pinnacle of like being in a place that nobody else will ever get to do athletically. Now, right? He's in a better headspace. He's loving the journey more. And guess what he does this year? He's had a higher placement setting than he's ever had. And he's going back to the CrossFit Games.
Yeah.
So he has taken his mindset that he's not in now. He's healthier, happier. His mindset's not looping in that, like, I'm not one, but he's just enjoying the full ride. And he's a better athlete because of it.
Yeah. Do you think that has happened in your business in JM? Like whenever you stopped focusing so much on like hitting targets and started caring more about providing excellent quality service and making people feel good about themselves and enjoying the ride, that you've seen a little bit more success in your business?
I think so. I mean, I've always from day one had the customer service mindset, but I think when I stopped focusing on, hitting goals and, numbers and the business side of it, yeah, I sail much better. When I take my mind out of the competitive side, and I'm not competing against anyone else, I compete against myself,
right?
On that business spectrum. But when I take my head out of that, yeah. It
probably becomes a lot more fun too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's kind of one of the points I wanted to drive home, because we're starting to slowly learn that in our, we started our business in 2020.
Yep.
Yeah, so we're young, right? We're 2 years in. And right at the beginning, we were, like he said, we need to hit these sales targets. We need to do this much, this much in sales. We need to talk to this many people. And like whenever you get that, or whenever you don't hit that, you feel like you failed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
So whenever we quit thinking about that and just started thinking about providing excellent quality service and doing good work, it just seems like it's a lot more fun. You know what I mean?
It comes just with some people's personalities and the way that you are. I think when you if you tell me meet this goal or do this way and I don't hit that mark, oh, boom, like I'm mad.
Yeah.
Or I'm like, honestly.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But I think knowing that you're growing your team, like you said, growing your team is in a sense that's a task all in itself. Weeding people in and out. And we do that in our business. They don't work directly for us like as an employee, but contractors and people that we work with, we have to weed them out. There's people who are like, nope, that guy will never get the call back. And that would be like an employee that you hire. You're like, oh yeah, they're going to be great. Mm-hmm. And then like 3 months in, you're like, no, they got to go. Mm-hmm. So same for us in that sense. And we've been like slowly building the team that we know that we can trust. Communication's high. Yeah. And we count on them and all that stuff. So I know that's been probably a process that you've been growing and tightening up as you go through these 3 years. What other systems and processes over these 3 years have you like kind of dug in and you're like, you saw a gap and you closed it after, and it's like you saw a growth spurt? Like, what are some of those things that you've seen?
We've really tightened up our social media. Like our social media, gosh, we have so much fun with it now. I have someone that helps me do our social media, and I think, plugging her in that role was a huge help. Like I was talking about earlier, our point of sale systems, anything that helps make your business run smoother is a must have in your storefront, at least. If you're a brick and mortar, I think that is just so important. I think, for me, just on the back side of JM, just keeping our numbers, keeping our counts, all of that, we have those systems in place. And that is probably my team's least favorite thing to do. We laugh all the time.
Yeah, but they like the social media stuff.
Oh, yeah. We love all the fun stuff. But, you come in with a count sheet and everybody wants to walk out the back door. But it just is. And even for myself, like it's taken me almost 3 years to learn how important some of these aspects are of this business. But I think some of those are really big key factors that really have made a difference.
Do you do team building events or getaways with your people?
We haven't done a getaway yet. We do, we hang out. We've been talking about Top Golf. I think is about to be something we go do. It's just been kind of hard with everybody's schedule because we have a good bit of girls. Like we have a pretty big team. But that is something I've been talking to them about that I really want to start implementing and doing more than just because, of course, we do like the big holiday parties and, all that kind of stuff. And I just think, here and there, we need to do a little more.
Yeah, it's something that I feel like when we get into the employee sector, we're both fairly aligned with, if it's once a year even if it's just going to Biloxi and getting a little house for the weekend and having everybody unwind and talk about work and path and life, but let it be under just these relaxing settings and like where we need to tighten up as a company and like what path would you like to see?
Right.
That kind of stuff.
Right.
Well, look, your team and your business is part of that support system. Like we talk about how important it is to have a support system. Your team is the support system.
Yeah.
Without the team, there is no business, right? And I think it's really important for business, and maybe you can agree or disagree with me that like the team needs to share your vision, right? That's your business. It's your company.
Oh, yeah.
They need to share your vision, but they also need to have ownership of it. So the only way to make people have ownership of it is to take some of their ideas and take some of their thoughts and like fold your team into the business, make them part of the business, and then watch them excel at basically growing your company for you.
100%. I love having a team around me that thinks differently and gives input. I think that's how we grow.
That's right.
Like if everybody thought the same, that would be boring.
Yeah, groupthink, right?
Yes.
Gets real bland, real boring, real fast.
Yeah, but like when everybody's so fun and creative and spits out ideas and, I think you have to, as a business owner, as a hustler, if you have a team, you have to be open to listening to these people's ideas. That's just what makes a good business tick.
Yeah, and you got to take care of them.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
If you're not taking care of your people, somebody else will.
Exactly.
Oh, no doubt. Without a doubt.
Man, I feel like I want to keep going. We're getting real close to the 1 hour mark, and I want to keep going. But I think we need to start wrapping this thing up.
Yeah, the one thing I want to talk about, before we do get to the wrap-up phase is you're very faith-based, and I can tell that. I've known that, but knowing that that's a huge part. What individual trait in yourself do you think has led you to have the success that you're having? If you could, it doesn't just one that you can pinpoint that you think that has helped elevate you. Then talk about the one thing that you think people lack when they don't find success.
Oh gosh, I really put my faith. I really give a lot of it to God. That's what I do. I get up every day. Even before I got out of the car, I prayed. I was like, God, give me the words, give me the faith to do this. Whatever you want said, let's do it. But I give it to God and I work my tail off. I work hard. I say all the time, I might not be the smartest person in the room, but I'm the hardest working person in the room.
I love it.
Yeah, that's a common theme.
Yep. I love it.
Like
it's so. I say that a lot too. I'm not the most educated. I'm not the most polished, but I will be in the trenches to get out and to come out on the better side. Our producers just smiled because we've all had the same exact conversation over and over. And I love hearing it. I will never get bored of hearing that line.
Dude, that's because it's like the quintessential trait that is required for you to be successful. Like you got to work towards it. You know what I'm saying? There is literally no other way to do it.
You have to work
Did you do this on purpose?
Hustle makes it happen. I mean, that is it. That's the whole premise of the show.
Yeah.
I love it. So you think that, that for the other people that are maybe lacking that, it would be their determination and their work ethic, maybe?
My heart's torn on that one because, but I also feel like it's a lot of people's faith in themselves, and I think
they don't think they can do it.
Yeah, that, and then I think, your heart and your passion and, believing in yourself. Like, if it's in you, it's within you. You got to do it. You got to believe in yourself. And I think if you put your heart in something and make it yours and work towards it, then it'll be, But I think the first time you get in and you're doing something and it goes south and you get that sinking ship for the first time, if it's not, your heart's not in it and you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing and you're just trying to follow a path or a trend or something else, then your ship might sink. You know, you have to have that hustle, that work ethic, that drive, that passion, that fire, that you're going to pull that ship back up. You know, you're gonna repair the hole in it. You're gonna put it back together. You're gonna make it float. You know, whatever it takes. And I just think sometimes it's so easy for people to get discouraged. You know, and I know sometimes, unfortunately, it could be the support system. It could be, you know, whatever it is. But
self-doubt.
Self-doubt is oh my gosh, that's a demon. That is just, you just have to believe in yourself. Like, you can do it. You have to just look at yourself and say, I can do this. I can do this. You know?
Yeah, people underestimate how powerful that is. Like, just a little bit of self-belief.
You have to stay in your head and be positive.
Do some, educate yourself on what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah.
Even if you're passionate about it, you need to know that try your best to know your ins and outs. And
right.
Those things can lead to success very easily for someone if they start checking those boxes off. It's almost like a recipe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Should we make a cookbook?
Yeah, hustle cookbook, a little success cookbook. Jim, can you do it? Can you make it happen?
The hustle cookbook.
The hustle cookbook, with a recipe to success.
Hey, if anybody steals that, I'm going to come find you because it's going to take us a little minute to get that going.
Hey, you want to put that together.
All right, Megan, tell us where we can find you, your social, your website, the address of your shop, whatever. All right, so Megan, tell us where we can find you. Tell us about your social, your website. You're up for some 225 awards, right?
Well, 225's closed. We finished Best of 225, and now we're doing Friends and Family Favorites.
Okay.
So last year we were Friends and Family Favorites winner. It's super exciting. We're nominated again. So voting is open. You can vote through, I'd have to look at the date, but in August. Beginning of August, you can vote. It's up on our website. If it's hard for anybody to find, you can just go to our website, shopjmboutiquela.com. And we even have it at the top. It's a banner. Just click it. It takes you straight to their voting. Okay. It's always running on our Instagram, Shop JM Boutique, and our Facebook. So you can just hop on any of our socials at any given time, and you can vote.
Go vote. I'm going to vote as soon as I get done.
Yep. So the Instagram, and the website are all Shop JM Boutique.
Shop JM Boutique.
And then the website is shopjmboutiquela.com. Mm-hmm. All of JM's social media links and the website link and the link to vote for the Friends and Family Award, that's all going to be linked down in the video description and the podcast description at the bottom of the episode. So that's it, man. Chase, any last thoughts?
No, I hope you took value just as I did learning about Megan and her hustle. This mom of two that jumped around from trying to figure out if she wanted to be a nurse or cosmetology is now one of the most successful boutique owners in our area. And the hustle shows it why. It's the reason.
It's the way.
It's the way.
The hustle is the way.
It's the way. It's why she's gotten to where she's at, and she's hustling. She built her team. And then go give her your money if you want nice clothes, because that's where you need to go.
That's it.
There you go.
Megan, anything you want to close out with?
No, I mean, just if you have a dream, I say go for it. Like, let this be your sign today. If you're listening to it, if you're driving, whatever you got going on today, if you've been debating on doing something, go for it.
All right. That's awesome. This is another absolute banger. I love doing these. It's my favorite. It's my favorite thing to do. All right. I guess notes for us, guys. This is another episode of Hustle Makes It Happen, the podcast. Remember, go to iTunes, leave us a review, please. It helps more than you know. Go to iTunes, give us a little 5-star review, tell us what you love about the show. Don't forget to check out our website, www.hustlemakesithappen.com. So thank you to all of our sponsors. Y'all, please show them some love. That's it. It's another episode of Hustle Makes It Happen, the podcast. Remember, until next time, keep your head down, keep your eye on the ball. Hustle makes it happen. But most importantly, have fun.